What's going on, everybody? This is Bronco Juggalo, and it is again Wild Eye Wednesday. Now, I almost didn't do this review. I've had a very busy week or so, and I'm not feeling great right now. That's why I'm not on camera again. And I just decided to do this way. The movie that I have reviewed is Children of Dracula. Now, this is a 1994 documentary that Wild Eye got some distribution rights to a few years back. And it's narrated by Joe Estevez, and it's directed by Brett McCormick. And this is actually a documentary about people who believe they are vampires. And it also goes into their inspiration from film and literature. It's also led me to be inspired because I found out through this documentary that Andy Warhol did a Dracula and a Frankenstein film, which I got to find. I was looking, and neither Dracula nor Frankenstein is available on DVD or Blu-ray. I did find Frankenstein on VHS, but not Dracula. There's also a movie I want to see called The Velvet Vampire. That looks pretty cool. Now, I was going to go into pros and cons on this like I usually do, but it's a little different with the documentary. I was going to say that I love the 80s style of the documentary, and then I realized and found out that it was, made in 1994. So I was like, well, that kind of explains that. I really enjoy the in-depth look at this goes into these people who actually believe that they are, or at least inspired by vampires. And some of these people actually admit to being blood drinkers and shit. One guy thinks that he really is an undead vampire, that even the sunlight affects him. Personally, I think he's a little crazy, but that's just my opinion. They also go into the murders committed by Jason Massey in Texas, way back when in the late 80s or early 90s. I can't remember exactly when that happened. But Jason Massey committed murders in the hopes of it being a ritual to make him undead. He wanted to be a vampire, and that's just fucking weird. There's some really cool fucking shit out there that we don't always watch because we don't know that it's there, or because we say we're not into it. And sometimes a documentary is one of those things. And when I saw that Wild Eye had put out a documentary, and this is actually one of 3 or 4 documentaries I own by Wild Eye. This was the first one I ever got, though, and I'm just now getting around to watching it. I was just very much, it's a documentary, it's not a big deal, I'll watch it later, I'll get to it eventually, which is what happened. And now I'm really regretting it because it's a pretty good documentary. I'm really enjoying it. It's an old transfer, and it's done really well for what it is. But I really enjoy it because it also brings back that nostalgia of that time period for me, and just looking at these people in their clothes and the way they talk and everything. I'm really enjoying this documentary. I definitely recommend it. Children of Dracula, good documentary, especially if you're into vampires and the vampire literature, the vampire movies, the vampire lore, and even into serial killers, because it goes into that too. Guys, I want to thank Wild Eye for sending me this movie, and people over at Wild Eye, Rob especially, I'm sorry it took me so long to review it. This is a really cool movie. This is Bronco Juggalo saying, I hope everybody enjoys Wild Eye Wednesday. And don't forget, guys, this is the final Wild Eye Wednesday before Wild Eye Week. Next week, it goes down. Everybody that's involved, don't forget to make sure to send me links, if you can, to your videos in case I miss one or I miss somebody's video. I want to make sure everybody's videos get put in the official playlist. This is Bronco Juggalo saying, peace.
Bring the blood, I'ma bring the blood, yeah. You not going to fuzz, leave him in the mud, yeah. Bring the blood, I'ma bring the blood, yeah. blood, yeah. On my Beastie Boy shit, finna sabotage. I'm the saboteur, dressed in camouflage. Pistol grip to your face, bon voyage.